The Astral Mega update finally dropped, bringing a ton of new content in a new desert setting. But what exactly is new? Hello Dodo crew and welcome back to another video on Ark Survival Center. Grab a bottle of water and let's get straight into it. Astraeos was unofficially launched with two islands, Pyranthos and Pyranthos. Ferokis was later added to the paid version, and Lemnokis was added with the first major content update. Even before the Mega update, Astraeos was the largest map in the entire game, and with this update another island has been added, significantly increasing the size of the map once again. Now, with the new Mega update, the desert island of Pyranthos has been added, along with its many new biomes. The shores and beaches are the easiest spawn areas when starting out. These regions are mostly sandy beaches with lots of palm trees, river rocks and ground tortugas, letting you farm wood, stone and even some metal right at the beginning of your run. The area is also very safe, with only a few saber-tooths further inland on the island. Next to the red obelisk is a beautiful small oasis, perfect for setting up a starter PvE base. Around this area you can find various crocodile spawns, adding a bit of wildlife without being too dangerous. The oasis is bordered by small blue rivers, surrounded by lush trees and scattered abandoned white houses that can be repurposed for your first base before venturing into the more dangerous areas. The first really dangerous area after leaving the oasis is the shallow desert that dominates this island. It's not just a barren stretch of sand, it's filled with hostile creatures like mantises, boas and various types of scorpions. On top of that, the desert is also patrolled by skeleton warriors, similar to the thralls from Lost Colony. I'm not sure if I'm even allowed to call it that, but it's clearly a remake of the famous white city Minotaur. The map features stunning white houses, the iconic white tree and massive, beautiful walls that really capture the city's aesthetic. Nekartos promised more PvP spots, and he delivered. All over the mountains there are small caves that are perfect for building PvP bases. These mountain ranges are packed with crystal, metal and other valuable resources, making them a perfect spot to build your base. The Sulfur fields are located in the lower center of the map and are very similar of the harsh zones on maps like Extinction. This is a hot, hostile region where danger lurks everywhere, from aggressive creatures to the scorching environment itself. In the center of the mountain range, you'll find a massive volcano, which I'll refer to as the Wyvern Trench. This area is extremely dangerous. Not only do hostile wyverns and other aggressive creatures spawn there, but the scorching, hot air from the volcano itself is an environmental threat. The canyon is a stunning area full of small cracks and caves. Not only do these provide shelter from the desert's heat, but they also make excellent spots for PvP bases. The deep desert is a harsh, unforgiving land, covered in sand and crawling with some of the most dangerous and hostile creatures on the island. It's the perfect place if you're looking for a real challenge. Think of death worms, scorpion kings and scorpion queens. Are you tired of playing alone on a dead server? Sick of lag, wipes and admins who never show up? Then it's time to join TBS, one of the biggest no-wipe servers, on which I'm actually playing and I'm making a video on. On top of that, on their PvP and PvE servers, they have all maps available cross-platform, custom caves that are truly outstanding, auto-lootable raid bases and even full 48-hour offline raid protection during the week. Not only that, but on weekends it switches to a 3x orb, which offers the possibility for offline raids, more action and so much more. A maximum of 4 players per tribe is allowed and there are cash prizes for the best tribes. Your starter kits and a bunch of other things are designed to help new players get started on these servers. And if you don't feel like defending your base at 3 AM in the morning, there are a bunch of other things that make it possible for players with jobs or normal lives to play. On top of that, if PvP isn't your thing, why not join one of their PvE servers? Stop wasting time on empty servers. Come and play with a real community on TBS. Links are in the description. I'll see you on the cluster. There are a lot of resources on Pyranthos that you can easily farm, and many new methods and locations where you can farm vast amounts of resources. In this part, I'll go over all the new locations, so this is not a complete guide to farming resources, but rather an addition to the existing guide for Astraeos. Metal. Honestly, it's still Astraeos. Go to another map. Even here, on the new island, there are no good spots for metal, and farming here is really not worth it. You should just go to the center or aberration. But if you really only want to farm on Astraeos, then just go to the mountains and farm there. Apart from the mountains, you'll find very little metal on this island. Honestly, this isn't the easiest spot, but it's a damn good one. At the top right of the island, there's a cave where rhinos and other beetles live. And here, you can farm a crazy amount of chitin with a megatherium, or organic polymer with a megawana. The rhinos in this cave are not tameable, which unfortunately makes farming them annoying, but the cave itself is nicely designed and has quite a few resources. The cave may not be that easy and you need a really strong megatherium, but the amount of Minotaur that spawn in this cave is awesome. Every time I go into the cave, my game freezes because of so many creatures spawning in. At the same time, these plants spawn in the cave as well, which you can easily farm for organic polymer. Just fly in with your megawana, hop 2 or 3 times, and your megawana is slot capped. Off the coast of Pyranthos, there are not only large clusters of silica pearl and cementing paste, but also enormous amounts of black pearls that you can easily farm with the new Grand Tortuga. For cementing paste, simply farm the grey corals that you can find everywhere underwater with a Desmodus or an Ankylosaurus, leveled up in weight and oxygen, which you can carry through the water with a car key. For silica pearls, simply grab your angler and farm the large blue shells that hang everywhere on the walls. And for black pearls, it's best to use a Grand Tortuga. This turtle gets slightly less pearls than an angler, but has a 90% weight reduction on black pearls, which makes farming much easier. There is now also a good spot for farming sulfur on Astraeos, namely in the Sulfur basin, in the middle of the island, between the Wyvern volcano and the mountains. It's actually impossible to miss, and you can simply mine almost all of the yellow rocks. The best way to do this is to take a mantis and a good pickaxe and walk around the area until you have enough sulfur. You can now farm rare flowers in the canyon without having to venture too far into the swamp. There you will find small blue flowers that you can easily harvest with a sickle, a ferry or even by hand. These only yield rare flowers and are super easy to find and harvest. I've honestly already talked about the sharks on the beach in another video. You can easily farm them in the early game with a pickaxe or a chainsaw, and they give you a large amount of oil, hide and spoiled meat, which you can use to make narcotics in the early game. The new update not only added scorched earth creatures to Pyranthos, but also a bunch of other creatures in other parts of the map. Desmodus can now be found in almost every cave across the entire map, but not on Pyranthos itself. However, they have been added to most caves where Onyx also spawn. Now there are also rock tracks spawning on the map. These are actually not on the new island, but at the top left of Fokintos in the aberration cave. There you can simply fly in with a glider or another suitable creature and then go all the way down to get some of the rock drake eggs. The Grand Tortuga is basically a rework of a creature originally made for Atlas, which honestly made me a bit suspicious at first. They are very easy to find. Grand Tortugas spawn only on Astraeos, and as of now they do not appear on other maps. You'll find them on Pyranthos, mainly around the shores and in shallow water. They spawn pretty much all along the coastline, especially in the beginner areas, so you don't have to search long to find one. Oasisaurus are now not only found on Scorched Earth, but also on Astraeos. In the deep desert, on the southern edge of the island near the world border, you will often find a few oases that you can easily tame by taking a soul and then playing the minigame. The most popular flyer in the entire game has made it back to the new island on Astraeos. Fire, poison and lightning wyverns are now also available on the new island in a new spawn location. The volcano in the middle of the mountains is home to the largest Wyvern trench on any map to date. Now there is no reason to go to Scorched Earth anymore, because phoenixes now also spawn in the deep desert on Astraeos. This means you'll find much better levels, as the level distribution of creatures on Astraeos is much better than on maps like Scorched Earth. Another former Scorched Earth exclusive now found in the Pyranthos desert, the rock elemental, can now also be found in the desert and anywhere around the mountains of the desert. And as the final creature, you can now find the big bad Scorpion King and the matching Scorpion Queen in the desert of Pyranthos and in some of the new caves. You can tame them, but if you kill them, they can drop nameless poison, and in their Astral variant, a lot of loot on top of that. Talking about loot, with the new island, not only has the entire loot table of Astraeos been changed, but there are also a few new ways to collect a lot of loot on Astraeos. With the Scorpion King and Queen, their Astral variants have also been added, which not only drops nameless poison, but also a lot of really awesome loot. The problem is that both are extremely strong and have bleed effects, so it's quite difficult to get this loot. The chance of an Astral variant spawning in a location where Scorpion King or Queen spawns is 5% each time. This means that it will not be easy to find them, but if you can, it is worth it. If you want to find the best loot on the new island, your best bet is to look for the desert beacons in the desert. I found 3 so far, and they always spawn with a horde of skeleton warriors who defend the drops. These aren't usually that difficult to kill. Without creatures around, it's much easier to kill the warriors. The warriors themselves are simply reskins of thralls on Lost Colony, which means they take less damage from creatures. Here's a quick overview of the 3 locations I found so far. They are relatively easy to find as they are surrounded by buildings. Artifacts are your way to the bosses. There are 4 new artifacts on Astraeos and you must collect them to fight the Hydra, the Manticore and all the other bosses on that map. You can easily get most artifacts with the glider, or you can grab your Megawana and just race through the caves. We'll start with Gatekeeper and Crag. The entrance to this cave is at 94 and 79.1. In this cave you'll find creatures such as onyx, scorpions, mantises and whatever else you might find in caves. It's best to bring a ghillie suit and bug repellent to make things easier for yourself and prevent overheating. Cactus Brew will help you ward off other creatures and then everything will be fine. For this cave you'll need Cosmo, a glider, grapples, a Pyromane or anything else that will help you to get over the cliffs in the cave. For the artifacts, simply go as deep into the cave as possible, where you will find a fork in the path. If you go left, you will find the artifact of the Crag, and if you go right, you will find the artifact of the Gatekeeper. For both, you need grappling hooks or something to climb up, so you can reach the artifact. The artifact of the Crag is at 93 and 76.5, and the artifact of the Gatekeeper is at 92.1 and 77.6. The artifact of the Destroyer is the easiest of the new artifacts. With Cactus Soup, Focal Chili, Battle Tart and Bug Repellent, you can simply walk through the cave. The cave is at 94.4 and 96.2, and it's best to take a glider with you, which will get you through the cave super easy. It doesn't get any easier than that. You have to run fast enough, have to get over the scorpions in the pit until you reach the end of the cave, where you should see the artifact in one of the ruins at 95.3 and 94.4. Grab the artifact, don't let the mantises, arthros and other bugs in the cave hit you, and then just run back. You can find the artifact of the Strong by killing the new Minotaur mini-boss. There are no particularly high requirements. He needs a few tributes and you must first find him in his cave. His cave is located in the center of the island, approximately at 90 and 73. You can easily enter the maze by going through the large gate and then going down. There, you will end up in a small room. This room is locked, similar to the Life's Labyrinth. On the ceiling above the door is a question, asking you to name the map you're currently playing on. Then go to the button that says Astraeos, spelled correctly, and click on it. The door will open and you will enter the labyrinth. Once you enter, there is no turning back. The labyrinth itself is not difficult. After going down, simply take the left path until you reach a spot that looks a bit confusing, but splits into 3 parts. Take the first one on the right. Be careful, as it looks quite narrow and is easy to overlook. From there, it's basically straight ahead. There are no more intersections, which means you will end up directly at the boss. The fight itself is relatively easy or relatively difficult, depending on how you want to do it. The easiest option is to jump on one of the safe spots with a Pyromane, Cosmo or Procoptodon and defeat the Minotaur from there with a shotgun. However, you can also take 2 Deinonychus with you, give them good saddles and then simply destroy the Minotaur with bleed damage. In its inventory, you can find a ton of loot and also the artifact of the Strong. The new island honestly is amazing. It's filled with Easter eggs, resources, caves and building spots. You can tame lots of creatures and I think they're really cool. This island is one of the best updates come along in a while. Artifacts are relatively easy to obtain and there are lots of new creatures on this island. I hope you liked this video and I'm thrilled to read if this video has helped you. Hit the like button, leave a comment below for the algorithm and consider subbing to the channel. Alright, Frodo.